10th Standard Algebra, Chapter 2, Quadratic Equation, Module 5. In this module, we'll study about the applications of quadratic equations. We will solve problem sums as well. Quadratic equations are useful in daily life for finding solution of some practical problems. We are now going to learn the same. First thing that we have to do while solving any particular problem is we have to represent the word problem using variables. Second, we have to use the condition mentioned in the question and formulate mathematical equations. Lastly, we have to solve the quadratic equation to find the solution by any method. So till now we have studied three methods. The first one was factorization, second one was completing square method, and the third one is the formula method. Let us start with the problem itself. Practice set 2.6, and this is the first question. The question says, product of Pragati's age 2 years ago and 3 years hence is 84. We have to find her present age. So that means the product of her age 2 years ago and 3 years hence, that means 3 years after, is 84. Let us find the solution. First, let us consider, let the present age of Pragati be x years. So 2 years ago, her age would be x minus 2 years. After 3 years, her age, Pragati's age will be x plus 3 years. So if her current age is x years, 2 years ago, her age would be x minus 2, and after 3 years, her age will be x plus 3. According to the given condition, the product of her age, x minus 2 and x plus 3, is 84. We'll just solve this. We'll do bracket to bracket multiplication, simplify it, and we get a quadratic equation, that is x squared plus x minus 90 equal to 0. Now we will solve this quadratic equation. So we'll split the middle term, and our two terms would be 10x and 9x. So it is x squared plus 10x minus 9x minus 90 equal to 0. We'll pair it and take out common. So in the first we'll take x common, and the next two terms will take 9 common. So the two factors would be x plus 10 and x minus 9 equal to 0. So by using the property, if the product of two numbers is 0, then at least one of them should be 0. So we can say either x plus 10 is equal to 0 or x minus 9 equal to 0. So in the first case, if we take 10 on the other side, we will have x is minus 10. And in the second case, if you take minus 9 on the other side, you will have x as 9. But one thing that we should note here is that age can never be a negative number. So we can discard x is equal to minus of 10. Therefore, x is equal to 9. So Pragati's present age is 9 years. Practice at 2.6, the second sum. The second question says, the sum of the squares of two consecutive even natural numbers is 244. We have to find the numbers. Solution. Let the first even natural number be x. The next consecutive even natural number will be x plus 2. Since we know after the difference of 2, we get a natural number. So if first even natural number is x, after that the next even natural number will be x plus 2. So according to the given condition, the squares of the sum of these two even natural numbers should be 244. So you do x square plus x plus 2 the whole square. That should be 244. If we simplify this, we open Here we'll use a plus b the whole bracket square formula, x square plus 4x plus 4, and just solve this. So we get a quadratic equation to be 2x squared plus 4x plus 4, and this plus 244 we take on the other side, you will get minus 244. So you have 2x squared plus 4x minus 240 equal to 0. Now we'll solve this quadratic equation and find the solution of this particular quadratic equation. So first what we do is we'll reduce this quadratic equation, we'll divide it throughout by 2. So after dividing throughout by 2, the quadratic equation so formed will be x squared plus 2x minus 120 equal to 0. Now we will split the middle term. So 120 will split into two such numbers, that is 12 and 10. So 12 into 10 will give you 120, and 12x minus 10x will give you the middle term, that is 2x. Now we just pair it and take the common term. So if you see in the first two terms, common is x, and the next two terms, the common is 10. So we'll take x plus 12, and here x minus 10 equal to 0. So we'll say x plus 12 equal to 0 or x minus 10 equal to 0. In both the cases, so in the first case, if I'll take plus 12 on the other side, you will get minus 12. And in the second case, if you take minus 10 on the other side, you'll get plus 10. So x is minus 12 or x is plus 10. But natural numbers can never be negative. So we can discard this x is equal to minus 12. So the even natural number is 10, and after 10 the next consecutive even natural number, that will be 10 plus 2, that is 12. So the two natural numbers are 10 and 12. Practice set 2.6. This is the fifth sum. Suyash scored 10 marks more in the second test than that in the first. 5 times the score of the second test is the same as square of the score in the first test. We have to find his score in the first test. Let us understand the question properly. Suyash, he scored 10 marks more in the second test than that in the first test. So in the first test, in the second test, he scored 10 marks more than the first test. And also it is said that 5 times the score of the second test is same as the square of the score in the first test. Let us try to represent all this using variables. Let the score of Suyash in first test be x. Score in the second test will be x plus 10. Since in the question it is given in the second scored 10 marks more than the first test. That is why x plus 10. According to the given condition, 5 times the score of the second term is same as the square of the score in the first test. So 5 times the square, 5 times the score in the second test is equal to the square of the score in the test 1. So 5 into x plus 10, as x plus 10 is the score in the second test, equal to x square, and as x is the score in the first test. If we solve this, we multiply 5 inside, we have 5x plus 50 equal to x square. Rearrange the terms, we'll get x square minus 5x minus 50 equal to 0. Now we'll split the middle term. So we'll have 50, we'll split 50 into two such numbers. So you can see if we take 10x and 5x. So 10 into 5, 50, and minus 10 plus 5 will give you minus 5. So if we see in the first two terms, we can take x common out, and in the next two terms, we can take 5 common out. So we have x minus 10 plus 5 into x minus 10. So our two factors are x minus 10, x plus 5 equal to 0. So we can take x minus 10 equal to 0 or x plus 5 equal to 0. In both the cases, in first case take minus 10 on the other side, you will have x is equal to 10, and in the second case take plus 5 on the other side, so you have x is equal to minus 5. But test score can never be negative, so we can discard this x is equal to minus 5. So x is equal to 10. The score of Suyash in the first test, which was asked to find out in the question, is 10 marks. So in the first test, he scored 10. Problem set 2. These are the multiple choice questions in your problem set. So let us solve questions in the problem set. We have to choose the correct answers for the following questions. Which one is the quadratic equation? We know any equation whose maximum power is 2, and if it has only one variable, then that will be a quadratic equation. If we see the first option, in the first option, if we take LCM, we'll not have this square term. So this is not a quadratic equation. If we see in the second option, if you multiply x inside, we'll have the square term. So this is a quadratic equation. This is not a quadratic equation because the square term is absent. And this is also not a quadratic equation because the maximum power is negative 2. So this is in the denominator. If you take it in the numerator, it will become negative 2. So in this case, the quadratic equation correct option is B. If you look at the second option, out of the following questions, which one is not a quadratic equation? Here we have to identify which is not a quadratic equation. If we see the first option, x square plus 4x equal to 11 plus x square. So this x square and this x square you can cancel it off. Now if you see the equation, the x square term is absent. So this is an option, that is, this is not a quadratic equation, but these all are quadratic equations. So in this case, not is asked. So correct option is A. Look at the third question. The roots of x square plus kx plus k equal to 0 are real and equal. We have to find the value of k. So this is a small solving. Let us do it. Let us compare a is 1, b is k, and c is also k. We have to find out b square minus 4ac. So in this b is k, so k square minus 4 into a into k. So we have k square minus 4 into 1, 4. We have 4k here. Now it is given that the roots are real and equal. So this will be equal to 0. Now from here, if you take k common out, you have k into k minus 4 equal to 0. So from here you can say either k is equal to 0 or k minus 4 equal to 0. So you have k as 0 or k as 4. So if you can see in this, 0 and 4 is option C. Let us see the next. For under root 2x square minus 5x plus root 2 equal to 0, we have to find the value of the discriminant. So this is also quite easy. In this, a is root 2, b is minus 5, and c is also root of 2. So you have to find the value of the discriminant. So that is, we have to find out b square minus 4ac. So b square, that is minus 5 square, which is 25, minus 4a is root 2, and c is also root 2. So root 2 into root 2 will give you 2. So you have 25 minus 8. So 25 minus 8 is 17. So we have here 17. So the correct option is B, 17. Let's see the next one. Which of the following quadratic equation has the roots 3 and 5? So what we can do here is, using the two roots 3 and 5, we can form the quadratic equation. So let us use the formula and form it. It is x square minus alpha plus beta. So 3 plus 5, that is 8x, plus alpha into beta, that is 3 into 5, 15 equal to 0. So this is a quadratic equation. So in this case, B is the answer that matches. So it's x square minus 8x plus 15 equal to 0. Let us see the sixth one. Out of the following equation, find the equation having the sum of its root minus 5. Here we have to find the equation whose sum of the roots is minus 5. So we know the formula, sum of roots alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a. So let us check which equation gives me minus 5. So in this case, if I take minus b upon a, you will have minus 15. You will have minus of minus 15 upon 3, which will give you plus 5. So this is not. If you see the second one, if you take this minus of minus 5 upon 1, here also you will get plus 1. So this is also not. We see the C option, alpha plus beta, it will be minus 3 upon 1, which is also not the answer. And if you see the D one, it will be minus 15 upon 3, that is minus 5. So D is the answer. Let us solve sum of problem set 2, the eighth one. Here we have to find m if this quadratic equation m minus 12x squared plus 2 into m minus 12x plus 2 equal to 0 has real and equal roots. Let us solve it. Solution: m minus 12x squared plus 2 into m minus 12x plus 2 equal to 0. Comparing the above equation with the general form, ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, we get a is equal to m minus 12, b is equal to 2m minus 12, and c is equal to 2. Now if we find the value of the discriminant b square minus 4ac, so we'll get 2 into m minus 12 the whole square minus 4 into m minus 12 into 2. Now if we just simplify this, and we get 4 into m minus 12 the whole square. So if we are squaring the first term, so 4, 2 square 4, and m minus 12 the whole square minus 4 into 2, that is 8 into m minus 12. Now we'll just take m minus 12 common outside. 4 and m minus 12 common out. So when we take 4m minus 12 common out, inside the bracket we'll get m minus 12 minus 2. So here if we just solve this, we get 4 into m minus 12, and this will be m minus 14. Now in the question, it is given that the roots are real and equal. That means the value of the discriminant should be equal to 0. So we'll take 4 into m minus 12, m minus 14 equal to 0. And we'll solve this, simplify it, we get m minus 12 into m minus 14 equal to 0. So from here we can either say m minus 12 equal to 0 or m minus 14 equal to 0. If you take minus 12 on the other side, m will be 12, and here if you take minus 14 on the other side, m will be 14. So, but if you note one thing, if m is 12, so in this quadratic equation, if you substitute m as 12, here you will get 12 minus 12, which is 0. And we know one thing in the quadratic equation, that the coefficient of the square term should never be 0. And if you put 12 here, the coefficient of the square term becomes 0. So we can discard m is equal to 12. So m is not equal to 12, and m will be equal to 14. So the value of m in this quadratic equation is 14. Let us solve the ninth sum of the problem set 2. The sum of two roots of quadratic equation is 5, and sum of their cubes is 35. We have to find the equation. So let alpha and beta be the roots of the quadratic equation. According to the given condition, alpha plus beta, sum of roots is equal to 5, and alpha cube plus beta cube, that is sum of their cubes, is 35. Now let us use the formula alpha plus beta the whole bracket cube. So that is alpha cube plus 3 alpha square beta plus 3 alpha beta square plus alpha into beta. So if you substitute here, if you take 3 alpha beta common, so I'll get alpha cube plus beta cube plus 3 alpha beta into alpha plus beta inside the bracket. Now substitute the values. Alpha plus beta is 5, so 5 cube. Alpha cube plus beta cube is 35 plus 3 alpha into beta, and alpha plus beta is 5. So if I substitute the values, rearrange it and solve it, you get alpha beta to be 90 upon 15, which is 6. So now you see I have the value of alpha plus beta and I have the value of alpha into beta. Now I'll substitute these two values in the formula to form the quadratic equation, that is x squared minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha into beta equal to 0. So here alpha plus beta is 5, so substitute it as 5x, and alpha into beta is 6, so we substitute 6.